Right. Well, that's it. Yeah. So it's just I thought Monday night. So at the start of lockdown, I did started like No Low Monday. So every Monday was kind of a celebration of sort of alcohol-free beers. Especially at the start of lockdown, I thought, you just want to you just want to drink. So it was quite a good way of getting of keeping myself accountable and other people, and then online on Instagram, people would share their beers on a Monday. So since then, that's kind of then spawned having some people into chat, and it's been really good and really fun. And yes, thank you very much for coming and doing it this evening. I was just saying before we started, like how well your beers have been going down in the boxes this month, because it was one of the 8 that was included in this month's box. So cheers and thank you. Have you got the beer there with you? I've just opened mine and poured it. Excellent. Awesome. And do you want to just first off, just both of you just introduce yourselves, and then we can talk a bit about the beer.
Cool. So my name's Sam. I'm one of the 2 co-founders of Signature Brew, and this is we're in the same room, but we're socially distanced. Tom is the head brewer, and and wrote the recipe for this beer, and this is not very interesting intro, is it? I should have just amped it up a bit more.
So whereabouts are you? You're in the brewery now, are you?
Yeah, we're in the meeting room at the brewery. I was just telling Tom earlier, like sometimes I've been doing sort of Zoom calls or whatever with people, and they're like, "Oh, you're in the office. I'm so jealous." You're like, "Yeah, okay." I mean, I have been coming here every day for like the whole year, but then I do take it for granted that there is a pub in our office which we can use whenever we like. So
nice. So when so the 2 of you set up Signature, when did you set up Signature? When did that become?
Signature Brew was set up in 2011 by myself and the other co-founder another Tom, who is my cousin. Yeah, we've got quite a lot of Toms here. We've got 3 now. So we exclusively hire people called Tom.
It keeps it easier. It makes it easier.
Yeah,
you don't have to remember anyone's name.
There's a couple of Sams as well, but we won't go into that because it's also not that interesting. But set up Signature Brew 2011 with Tom Bott, my cousin, and basically just out of a kind of dissatisfaction of the quality and choice of beer at music venues, gigs, festivals. It was, paper cups and £5 a pint back in the 2000s for all of the main offenders, and we're both kind of big beer fans, and it made sense to us at the time. We just wanted to change that, fix that problem, and we thought if we make beers with bands, we're solving that problem, and that was basically it. It turned out later that wasn't quite enough as a business model or business or anything like that. We just found some bands who wanted to make beers, made them some of their own beers, sold them at gigs. So we thought, all right, we're solving this problem here. Tom and I didn't have any kind of big financial backing or anything like that at the start, and we just kind of took the money that we had from the first beer that we made and just put it into the next one. Nice. We were brewing all over the place. We didn't have a brewery. Just had this idea to kind of improve the quality of beer anywhere there's live music, basically, and just went about it that way. And then it kind of the ball kept rolling until now here, which is 2021. It's our 10-year anniversary later this year, so we're going to be having some parties and stuff to celebrate that. And we just, along the way, we kind of, I guess, started to have to try and behave a bit more like a normal brewery. So we have a core range of beers, lots of music influences. We still collaborate with loads of bands, musicians, record labels, and still kind of to keep that mission going of fixing the quality of and choice at music venues. And music venues are now in more need than ever of our help, and I think everyone's hopefully going to be very excited to get back to seeing some live music. So
absolutely, yeah. So I guess at the start of 2020, like that was the whole of the music industry shut down, and a big proportion of the beer industry shut down as well. So like, what did you do? What have you done since then? Like, obviously we've got the new beer now, but like, what's happened to Signature from sort of when was April 2020?
Yeah, I mean, I was like, yeah, and then I was like remembering all the difficult times.
Yeah, I bet, yeah.
Well, the thing that has given us like a lot of focus as a company and as a team is that we launched a product. I don't like saying product; it doesn't sound very craft. Sorry. We launched a thing called Pub in a Box.
Okay.
So that is exactly what it sounds like. A glass, some snacks, obviously beers, a quiz, curated playlists, all that sort of stuff, and we put it together really quickly. Like I think it was in March, and there was me, Tom Bott, and John, our head of marketing, and Aaron, our finance guy. We're all basically just getting pissed. I think it was a Monday night then, actually, just getting pissed, trying to work out what to do, and we kind of had the idea and kind of put it together in like a couple of days, and I think people really bought into that idea, and it was like a bit of positive news when there really wasn't any. And we drafted in out of work musicians who have had all their gigs cancelled to help us deliver them and drive the vans.
Amazing.
And yeah, just kind of got picked up, and then after that we just kind of kept that going, and lots of breweries, lots of all kinds of businesses moved their whole thing onto online. So we just kept the momentum going with that, and we were excited to be, we carried on releasing the beers. So because we had a bit more of a route to market with our online stuff, we were able to keep bring out the beers that we had in tank, and then continue to brew new beers. So
nice.
Yeah, that was sort of the first half of the year, the first few months of lockdown one. I'm a big fan of the original lockdown, I think.
Yeah, but when it was cool, yeah.
Yeah, like Back to the Future 3. It's like just that it's okay, but back
debut
1 and 2. But yeah, during the interim period, we hosted a load of social distance gigs here at the brewery, and
nice.
Yeah, and that was really positive, and again gave us something all to get behind and something positive to talk about, and obviously helping musicians do anything was great at the time. So we did that throughout the summer whilst the rules allowed, and then since then I can't remember really.
Well, you had
going south again. I just stopped looking at the news.
You had the launch of the lo-fi. So was that for Dry January?
Oh yeah, so probably should talk about lo-fi at the alcohol-free beer club. So we launched it in obviously January. Seemed to make sense. I think we kind of always wanted to have something for Dry January, partially just to satisfy the needs of our own bars, but lots of not pressure, that's the wrong word, requests from the trade, but also Tom had some ideas around
it's
the beer itself.
It's something that we've been talking about basically since, I mean, I guess probably even before Dry January last year. But we decided it was definitely something we wanted to do. Sorry, just unmute myself.
No, we can hear you, sorry.
Okay, cool.
You're coming through this one.
Okay, I'll remute it, sorry. It was definitely something we wanted to do, but we definitely, when we did it, we wanted to make sure it was good, and we didn't want to just kind of rush something out just to get something onto market that we weren't going to be completely happy with. I think it's also been driven a little bit by the fact that we've worked with a few bands who've had certainly like teetotal members, and haven't really had anything that we could do with those guys in the past. And I think that just kind of got us thinking a little bit more about I mean that audience being there, and certainly within our own venues as well. And yeah, as I say, we really sort of wanted to put the time into developing something that we were really happy with.
Yeah.
I didn't want to release a beer that just tasted like a watered down version of one of our beers. So we put a few different ideas through our pilot system. We're really fortunate to have like a really high end pilot system here, which basically means we can do 100 litres of beer, but have every process completely replicatable up on our 3,200 litre system.
Okay.
I was able to kind of test out a few ideas that I've had around doing that, and I think it came really kind of down to like the last month or two before releasing this beer. Kind of finally kind of cracked a few kind of elements of it and got something that we were definitely happy to put our name on.
Nice. Yeah, like I said earlier, it's going down really well. And what so it's what hops are in it? It's definitely Simcoe, isn't it?
Yeah, it's straight up Simcoe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So loads of Simcoe, which is a hop grown on the west coast of the States. Gives us loads of like pine and apricot kind of flavors. All of the hopping is done late on in the process.
Okay.
So generally when you're making a beer, you add some hops at the start of your boil, and that's what gives you the bitterness, and then you add some more hops at the end and you get a bit more aroma and flavor out of those. And then also down the process after fermentation, you can add more hops in a process called dry hopping, which gives you even more aroma. All of the hops are added either at the whirlpool, which is the stage at the end of the boil, or as dry hopping. We didn't add any sort of bittering hops in there as well onto this beer, so that we kind of kept the balance.
Yeah,
you know, add too much bitterness into a kind of a light beer like this, you'd end up.
And then you launched it in January, and I guess the plan is then to make it available when we are open again, to make it available for venues and bars and stuff as well on draft, I suppose. Or would it be cans that we'll start seeing out and about?
Yeah, I mean, basically we're now we're just doing the meeting. We're in the meeting room over here. What's the split's going to be? I think the plan's definitely going to be having it on keg, on draft, certainly for our own bars, for music venues that have got enough space on their taps, and definitely, but also making sure that we're in the fridges as an option, and you know, the reaction we've had so far has been so positive. You know, we and the plan certainly is to keep it as a permanent beer, and all the signs are showing that that's going to be the case. So yeah, I mean, we're just going to make it part of our kind of normal offering and put it out there to see what more of the on-trade pubs and stuff think about it, because obviously I think we've got a theory, and well, I'm going to pass it off as mine, but it's actually Chris who I think who sold some of the beer to you guys and got it out to everybody, has this theory that we're going to all go out so much, and I know maybe it just applies to me and him, but not going to drink. Like, we want to go back to the pub so much, and we've got to catch up with all our customers. Yeah. But going back to all your favourite pubs, I think that there's going to be such an increase in kind of low and no beers, because you're going to want to go out on a Monday night. Yeah. And I want to go out every night, you know.
Yeah, that is a great theory. Yeah, and you can't go out and see everyone and catch up with people you've not seen in ages every night, or have 4 times a week and be hammered every night. So that's a great theory. Also, I think as well, I've said it before, like, I think over the last year that we've had in lockdown, people have really evaluated their drinking on the whole anyway, and that you've seen the massive spike in people choosing alcohol-free beers and other drinks at home. I think people want to experiment with that out in the pub as well. So
I think a lot of people will. My guess is that a lot of people are just going to mix it up with their other drinking as well. So it's like it's not you just drinking that all night. And now, if you want to do that, the choices are more than ever. But I think people might just have a couple, throw it in with their other pints, and just kind of manage how much they're drinking alcohol wise that way.
Absolutely. I think we're a bit behind on that. I think in Germany they do that, routinely. I think chucking in you'd have one or two, and then your third round might be alcohol-free rounds, because the beer's just as good. So, and it means that you can still hang out with your friends, like you say, but you can hang out for longer and remember it for longer. Yeah. So what have you? Is it too early to have plans for kind of the summer and beyond, like going ahead, or are you tentatively? I mean, you've said you've got your 10-year birthday, so what's coming up?
That's towards the back end of the summer, but we're just we're waiting on kind of the official when we can do XYZ on the different stages, and obviously we're planning for the best but also preparing for the worst. So I wouldn't like to go onto the internet and criticize the UK government, but they've disappointed a few people, I think, so with some of the decisions. So I'm prepared for not getting exactly what I want, but also hoping that it goes ahead as planned. But yeah, we're ready. As soon as we can go, we're going to go.
Nice. Have you been able to kind of stay open as a shop over the last, for people to walk in? Have you been able to keep that sort of local feel going during the lockdown?
Yeah, we've got a brewery shop here, and yeah, some people really committed to coming here. And yeah, lots of people coming and picking up lo-fi actually.
Nice.
So we did the I don't know if you saw when we actually launched it, we did the kind of campaign, which was buy your mate a case.
Yeah.
So a lot of people using the kind of pick it up kind of thing as an option as well for that. And that went really well.
We've actually brewed more lo-fi than any other beer in 2021.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing. Yeah.
So the demand is there, and people.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure it's been aided by that deal, which means people are buying it in bulk. But yeah, it's great. It's really nice to see that it's been so well received, and that people are into it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, sorry, go on, Sam.
I was going to say, maybe one of the surprises, the really positive surprises of the lo-fi launch and how well it's been received, and all the information that's going to come back about it, is I had no idea that there was such a strong alcohol-free beer community. There's a whole, So maybe I could ask you a question of how's that been formed, and how's that kind of come around? Is it been up there for a long time? Is it a relatively new thing?
I think it's definitely grown a lot recently. I think so. I stopped drinking a couple of years ago. I was really into craft beer, real ale a couple of years ago, and then decided to have a bit of a break and stopped. And then I started doing the Instagram, and there was a couple of people doing it, and then it's just grown from there over a couple of years, really. The last year has been massive, I think. You've just seen so many of the traditional brewers, the alcohol brewers, such as yourselves, coming into it now. And I think the last January was probably, 10 times the amount of new beers that there was the January before, from really established names. And yeah, there's a whole community behind it. Like any little niche, there's always a good community behind it. And it's, for me, I got last summer, there was we did a festival, an online festival, beer festival, and it was alcohol free. So yeah, there's definitely a buzz going, and like I said before, the club's up to over 100 members now that get the monthly boxes, and we're not the only ones doing the monthly boxes. So there's hundreds, thousands of people that are keen and want to be part of it. And yeah, and a lot of my subscribers, they're like we said before, they still drink. They just want to have something nice when they're not drinking. And yeah, still support local independent breweries, but just not have the alcohol. And yeah, I think but yeah, like you say, yeah, it's a really, really great community, and because no one's drinking, everyone's quite friendly.
Yeah, that could explain some of the weird things that happen in the wider craft beer
Well, yeah,
forums and Twitter things I've seen over the years.
exactly. Yeah, there's a Club Soda do a festival, an in-person festival twice a year, and the summer one they had in Shoreditch was like a beer festival, but everyone's obviously sober, so it's just lovely and chatty and just a really nice feeling. Not that you can't have that at a normal beer festival. It is, that's, you know, but then later on in the night it's still nice and calm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, well, just realised I was talking about myself for ages, and we've got you guys.
I'm really interested in it, and I'm like really kind of, you know, it's really been quite like eye-opening and kind of heartwarming to see it, because I think if alcohol-free beers are promoted in a way that's just like, it's just a thing that you can have, not as like either a inferior beer, but just as part of the mix, I think it'll just help anybody who wants to. Everyone can choose how they want to drink, and it makes everyone's lives better.
Absolutely. And if you looked on the boxes that I send out or my page, you wouldn't know it was alcohol free. It just looks like a beer subscription service. So it's not excluding anyone. It's just all part of the same thing. It just happens to not have any alcohol in. So yeah. Have you guys? What are your other favorite? Like what were you tasting before you, like alcohol free wise, before you then brewed your own one? Like, do you want to shout out any other alcohol free beers that you liked?
Well, I'll let Tom handle that one.
I actually intentionally didn't taste too many. I've obviously had a fair few. I did dry January, not last year, the year before, and I found myself drinking a lot of tonic water because most of the alcohol-free beer that I had, I wasn't mad into a couple of years ago. Okay. I ended up finding that Heineken Zero was probably about as good as I could find. I don't know if there were the kind of subscription services and things that like you run back then. And I mean, certainly not the choice in the market. But kind of going into this, I didn't really want to compare the beer that we were brewing against other alcohol-free beers on the market, and just kind of be happy that we kind of reached whatever that level was. I really kind of just wanted to compare it to hazy pale ales, and try and get something that in a lineup of hazy pale ales, I wasn't embarrassed to have that sit there and alongside them. Since then, I have had a few others. I think the Northern Monk. What one's that? What's that called? Is it Holy Faith?
That one was in the box as well with your one. Oh, was it? Yeah, they go well together.
Great. Well, that was pretty good.
I quite like Lucky Saint.
Oh yeah.
And like Big Drop, which we've stocked quite a few of theirs at our bars. Infinite Session. I think it's like hats off to people who have gone like, that's the thing that they're going to do, like that. That's big statement for those guys to come out of the gate doing that, and I think fair play.
And I think like with that, it means that for those guys doing that now means that now there's that platform for other people to try it and do it, and alcohol-free beer when no one else was doing it. Big Drop were doing it in 2016 or whatever it was, and now it means that there is that space for craft alcohol-free beer. So yeah, that's cool. Yeah, you got some great names there. But yeah, well, I think we'll leave it there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, really appreciate it. Oh, Henry's joined us. Henry, have you got anything you want to ask the guy before you go? Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Hi. Yeah. I wasn't sure if I was meant to turn my video on or not, but
that's all right.
Anyway.
Don't worry.
But yeah,
it's the first time
it's really nice to see you guys. Yeah, I was one of the people, probably many people that partook in the box for a friend. I was going to say that it was, I really like that gesture. As soon as I saw it, I was up for it, because I think part of the lockdown thing for me is certainly recently has been trying to find things that I can do for those people I haven't seen for a year, and still show them that, you know, I'm here and you know, I care about them and things like that. So it's just like a little unsolicited gift in the post was really nice and things like that. So yeah, thanks for that. But I did have a question. I've obviously, you know, your gig is around gigs, your gigs around music and beers and brewing for that. And I wouldn't want to box you in to ask a favorite, but I wonder if you've got a particular band that jumps out at you for a band that you've brewed with in the past.
Well, maybe it's perhaps because of all the alcohol, but I just sometimes just say the most recent one, because that's the one I can remember the most. Which was this is my, I don't know, they're all, I've got great memories of most of them. But the Darkness, which we released a extra seasonal bitter, which came out at Christmas, and that was just one of the most fun ones I think we did. Like, Tom nailed the recipe of like that kind of, you know, encapsulating that bitter in a, like, I think get craft beer bitter in a can sort of didn't naturally go together, and managed to crack it. So I'm looking forward to getting, you know, brewing that beer again and having it on cask and keg. But yeah, Darkness, super fun, and it was just like kind of all the stars aligned to for that one to come off. But over the years we've done loads, like pretty fun. I was watching the video of the beer when we made a beer with Mastodon. I think I'm going to go out and say that we were the first people to do a double black IPA. I think we might have been the last people as well, but that was super fun. I don't know, what were some of your favourite ones?
The one that stands out for me at the moment as kind of topical at the minute is Mogwai. We did was probably about 18 months ago or so. We did that, and that beer was a bit of a kind of a concept beer, which sounds really, well, it is really pretentious. It was basically the concept was that we would listen to their track, Mogwai Fear Satan, and their beer was to be called Mogwai Beer Satan. Nice. And brew a beer inspired by that track.
What did it turn out to be?
Well, so it was a hazy pale, okay, but with a little kick of chili. And so basically that song, it sort of like starts off really sort of gentle and quite light. It's got a little flute solo in there somewhere. And then by the end, it's like absolutely thrashing. So the idea was that if you drank this beer at the same time as you listen to that track, by the time you got to the track and got to the end of the beer, the heat in the beer would have kind of risen to the same extent as the track. And yeah, nice. That was a lot of fun. But yeah,
no, it's a great beer. It's a great beer.
Yeah, fond memories of that.
And then just one word answer. If a dream band you could collaborate with, who would it be? If you could one and done, you can have one each, who would it be?
Blur.
Oasis.
Now that's an idea. Thank you so much, guys. That's a great one to end on, and we look forward to reliving the 90s Britpop. Thank you very much, and yeah, really appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Take care.